All right, it's time to do our NFL predictions for week number 14 now. And through 13 weeks, of course, you see our notebook. Lincoln had started writing some in it. I have 129. Ethan, my 18-year-old, has 125. Lincoln has 126, or Brady has 126. Lincoln is at 111. I think we all scored about 10, or I think we all scored 10 last week. It's a tie week. Moving on to week 14, starting with tonight's game, you got the Dallas Cowboys, who are red hot, taking on the Detroit Lions. Both of these teams need to win to get into the playoffs. Lions are in a little bit better shape than the Cowboys, but the Cowboys have been playing better. I decided, you know what, I'm going to go with the Cowboys this week. I never go with the Cowboys. They always let me down, and they might let me down again tonight. But I went ahead and picked the Cowboys, and then Ethan and Lincoln also took the Cowboys. I didn't think anybody would. Brady probably got the safe bet there. Detroit at home. We thought about going to this game. Detroit's a few hours away from us, and I looked at tickets several weeks ago, and there wasn't hardly anything less than about $400 or $500. So I decided not to. And then move on to Sunday's games. No Friday or Saturday game this week. You got Seattle taking on Atlanta. Ethan, Brady, and I have Seattle. Lincoln went with the upset this week, taking Atlanta. Atlanta look bad. Seattle, they lost to the Rams and bounced back last week, shutting out Minnesota. I don't see how the Seahawks can't win. I don't see how they don't win this. Buffalo, we all took Buffalo over Cincinnati. Now, Cincinnati, they got Joe Burrow back. They had a big win last week over Baltimore. So, hey, anything can happen. Buffalo is definitely not unbeatable. They had a win last week against Pittsburgh, but either way, in Buffalo, we all took Buffalo winning. We also have Cleveland. Now, you gotta remember, Cleveland has to be playing a very bad team where we all picked Cleveland. But we all did take Cleveland. They lost last week. Sanders played again. They didn't look good. Tennessee, though, is bad. I think they get one win. We all took Cleveland. We're split on Washington and Minnesota, two teams that were good last year or better last year. Neither one of these teams are great. I know Washington does have some injuries. I went with them, Lincoln and I think Washington is a little better. And McCarthy didn't play last week for Minnesota. I don't know if he's playing this week. I don't know that it matters, really. Three of us have Miami. Ethan and Brady and I have Miami. Lincoln went with the upset here. The Jets. Jets do have a few wins. Miami's not great. They're in New York. I'm still going to go Miami on that. We also all have Tampa Bay beating a really bad New Orleans team. Indy had the lead. They had the lead in the East. I had read somewhere where they had one of the easiest schedules to start out the year, and they've lost two. They lost two in a row now. Jacksonville is starting to play better. I think if the playoffs were today, Jacksonville would be in the playoffs. They would win that division. I think the Colts would still be in as a wild card. Me, Lincoln, and Ethan take Jacksonville at home. Brady went with Baltimore. You've got Detroit, which could easily win, and Indy, which easily could win. So he could get double points for those. Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Neither one of these teams are good. The entire division is horrible this year. I went ahead and went with Baltimore. Went in. I don't know if Rodgers is going to play, and like I said, I don't know if it matters. Pittsburgh lost last week. Baltimore did as well. I don't know. I got a feeling a team with a losing record might win that division. We all have Denver. They are 10. I think they've won 9 or 10 in a row. And Vegas they're eliminated from the playoffs. They're not good. Denver has to win this. Could be the game of the week. Chicago at Green Bay. Brady went with Chicago. Another one of these where he easily could get double points. Green Bay's starting to play better, and Chicago, they're winning by just a few points. Now, they had a big win over Philadelphia last week, which was great. But before that, they're winning these games really close. That never lasts. I'm going to go Green Bay here. We don't. Lincoln went with the Arizona Cardinals, which is an upset. The rest of us have the Rams. I told Lincoln, I said, Lincoln, you might not want the Rams, or you might not want to pick the Cardinals. They're really bad, and the Rams are really good. But he went ahead and went with them. And then Houston and Kansas City. I went with Houston. Everybody else took Kansas City. Kansas City needed to win a couple weeks ago. They didn't. They needed to win last week. They didn't. I don't think they win here. I think Houston wins. I think Houston is a little bit better. And I'd love to officially put that dagger in the Chiefs. I hope that happens. Lincoln went with Philly. The rest of us have the Chargers. Now, the Chargers are not great. I mean, they're good, but I don't think they're great. Philly can be great, but they have not been playing great. I'd love to see them lose again. I don't know that it'll happen, but I went ahead and went with the hometown Chargers. Thanks for watching week number 14. We're getting closer and closer to the end of the year.